Over the last 8 years, since its initial release, No Man's Sky has changed dramatically. In fact, it's barely recognisable now compared to what it was when it first launched in August of 2016. Back then it was just us, our ships, and endless amounts of planets to explore, whereas now there is so much more to do thanks to the guys over at Hello Games adding in endless amounts of new features in a large number of major updates. So what I've decided to do is rank the top 10 new features added in No Man's Sky since its initial release 8 years ago. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get stuck in. If you get to the end of this video and you have a different opinion on the best features added over the years, or even if you think there are some features worthy of mention in this video that I haven't included, why don't you leave a comment afterwards letting us know what that feature is. And also, for argument's sake, I'm not going to include any bug fixes in this video because those should be dealt with regardless of new features. So kicking off this list, coming in at number 10 is settlements. These were added as a main feature of the Frontiers update, and it gives us the opportunity to assist the local population and help construct buildings and resolve disputes. When this feature initially came out, I thought it was going to be a total game changer because settlements are by far the biggest planet point of interest, and they have story and quests to go with them. I enjoy settlements as much as anyone else, and I think they were a great addition to the game overall, hence me including them in this list. But if I'm being totally honest, I would love for them to get an expansion of sorts in the future to make them even better. If we could construct new buildings and outposts within them to make them have more functions and ultimately be bigger, giving us more playtime around them, I think that would be just great. But they were a great addition nonetheless. At number 9 is Derelict Freighters, which were one of the main features of the Desolation update, which came out over 4 years ago. Man, doesn't time fly. The reason I have Derelict Freighters in this list is because they offer something a little bit different to the rest of No Man's Sky. You're stuck aboard a freighter, you can't walk around quickly, there are tiny little aliens out to kill you, and you can reap some good rewards along the way. What's not to love about a little smidge of horror added into the game? Every now and again I decide to purchase an emergency signal scanner from the scrap dealer on the space station just so I can go exploring Derelict Freighters for something a little bit different. Each one of them has its own unique story to tell whilst you uncover the hints about each crew member's fate. And did you know no two Derelict Freighter interiors are exactly the same because they are procedurally generated? Fun fact for you right there. Coming in at number 8 is actual freighters, not the derelict ones, but they have technically been in the game since its launch, but you couldn't actually get one yourself until the Foundations update, hence me including it in this list. I'm also including Frigates under this as well because they're pretty much related in its entirety. I've spent a lot of time with freighters over the years in No Man's Sky, and there is a lot of depth to them, with more being added to them each year it seems. In recent years we've had pirate dreadnoughts added to the game, enhanced freighter base building within them, living frigates, and a bunch of other stuff. So it does make them worth your time. You can send your fleet on expeditions for a load of valuable resources, you can spacewalk on your freighters and frigates now, which is pretty cool and makes for some truly spectacular views. So overall, you can spend a lot of time on your freighters and frigate fleet, so they're definitely worth being on this list. At number 7, I'm going to be talking about the new ships that have been added over the years. So things like solar ships and the Sentinel or Interceptor ships, amongst a few of the unique ships you can get as rewards for expeditions. I think expanding the ship catalogue has been an essential addition over the years because previously, at least in my opinion, the only ships ever worth hunting back then were a few of the exotic ships, but now we can find a whole bunch more. I also suspect a new ship type, new ship type additions have also gone very well with the ship hunting community in the game, especially with the addition of the Sentinel Interceptor ships because those designs are even more rare than anything else and they look freaking awesome. I'm sure many of us would be happy if Hello Games decided to add yet even more ship types and variations in the future as well. It's probably quite likely, because it's no fun everyone having similar ships after all. At number 6, I've got portals, and if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you'll know I use the portals a lot. I use them to visit amazing bases created by other players, as well as for finding super rare ships, paradise planets, cool creatures, and everything in between. The introduction of the Portal network in No Man's Sky opened up a boatload of possibilities for players to not only come across other players' creations, but share their discoveries with others, and I'm often active on the subreddit dedicated to players sharing these discoveries. Whilst we're here, I also encourage you viewers here on YouTube to give me the portal coordinates to some of your amazing creations or discoveries so I can showcase them on my channel in future videos. I have bases stored at all portals in all of the first 10 galaxies as well, and I can find them very quickly beyond that. For me, they've played a very important part on my YouTube channel, and I thoroughly enjoy using them to find awesome stuff, hence why I've got portals at number 6. Halfway through the list now, and at number 5, I've put improved planet variety. Obviously, this has been a feature of a number of major updates over the years, and most recently in the Worlds update, which looks to be getting a second part in the very near future. So here's hoping we'll be getting even more variety when that does inevitably arrive. But exploration is one of the main attractions to No Man's Sky for obvious reasons, because it's an entire universe. So to not have any variety on this planet would be pretty damn boring, and we'd all get very bored very quickly if everything looked the same. Now, I've been playing No Man's Sky for many years, and I feel like I have seen everything the game has to offer, but when an update like this comes out, it always drags me back in looking for brand new and unique planets to find and perhaps make a base on. Coming in at number 4, I've put ship customization. Or perhaps more specifically, I guess, shipbuilding, because let's be honest, we can't currently modify our existing ships and instead we have to start from scratch. And to be honest, that's fine. I think at the same time of its release early this year, it was the most requested feature by No Man's Sky players, and I myself was one of those players who wanted it adding into the game. And of course, a bunch of ship hunters weren't exactly happy with this feature because they figured it made ship hunting pretty redundant. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. You cannot modify any old ship. You have to go out hunting for ship parts and ships you like to scrap them and then gather their parts to then make an entirely new ship altogether. So instead of hunting for ships, you're effectively hunting for ship parts on specific ships. The reason I have it at number 4 on this list is because it's a feature I've wanted for years. And although it's not quite what I fully expected, it still gives me the ability to create my own custom ship, and I've had great fun doing so multiple times already. At number 3, I've put multiplayer. If you rewind back to the pre-release days of No Man's Sky, it was heavily implied that No Man's Sky was going to involve seeing other players and having some, at least very minor interactions with them, but it wasn't to be initially. There were some multiplayer aspects added to the game, like seeing other players' bases, being able to leave messages and stuff like that, but it wasn't until the next update where No Man's Sky finally got what could be classed as a more traditional implementation of multiplayer, which was then further expanded in the Beyond update. This was far more what players had been requesting for a number of years, especially with the addition of expeditions. It is now a great feature of the game, and for some players, one of the most important updates ever released. As for me, I do so many base showcase videos on my channel, and that would simply not be possible without multiplayer. So that's why I've ranked it at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is base building. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a number of years, you'll know that I create base showcase videos multiple times a year showing off the very best bases I've come across in recent months that have been built by fellow No Man's Sky players, and some of them are utterly brilliant. If you haven't yet checked out my amazing bases playlist on YouTube, guys, get yourself over there after this video. I can promise you that you will not be disappointed. Anyway, base building was in fact added as one of the first new features post initial release as part of the Foundations update, and it has had many enhancements over the years with many new base building parts added, and no doubt there'll be more base building parts added in future updates as well. It's always great fun building a base and of course exploring other players' bases. I'll be doing my base showcase videos multiple times a year as long as No Man's Sky is going, so make sure you subscribe to my channel for that. If you've gotten this far, then you may already know what I think is the best feature added into the game because I haven't mentioned it already, and that is of course expeditions. Ever since these were added into the game back in the early part of 2021, they have been massively popular amongst the player base, allowing for us to undertake in-depth quests with our friends or other No Man's Sky travellers, whilst getting a whole host of amazing rewards along the way. It can range from brand new and unique starships, new jetpacks, spacesuits, all the way to the freaking Normandy from Mass Effect. As of the creation of this video, there have been 14 expeditions so far, the latest of which is the Liquidators one, and more are added every year with the opportunity to replay some of the old ones during the festive season as well. I did miss a few of the earlier expeditions because, well, life got in the way, so I'm desperate to be able to play the Pioneers and the Beachhead expeditions again to get myself that Golden Alpha Vector and the Normandy. And hopefully I'll be able to do so later this year, either in winter or maybe next winter. Anyway, another reason why I have expeditions as my number one feature, besides the rewards and being able to complete them with our friends, is because each one of them provides a different experience with us, and it's truly great fun to undertake these multi-step, multi-hour long adventures. Well played, Hello Games, well played. I think there are a few updates that are worthy of notable mentions, even though I didn't include them in the main list. And those, well, the first one of those are the Sentinel combat enhancements, or just Sentinel enhancements in general, including corrupted Sentinels, which make the on-planet combat just that little bit more of a challenge and more varied. The second notable mention would be companions and the ability to create our own companions using the egg sequencer on board the Space Anomaly. I personally don't really use my companions all that much, but I do think they were a pretty neat addition to the game, and I do have a fair few interesting companions I've gathered over the years. My final notable mention would be the improvements to the ship combat overall, and that does include improved freighter battles, including the freighter trench run and whatnot. Sure, it's not that complex and it could be further enhanced, hence why it's not making my top 10 list, especially when you compare it to other space games, but it has had its enhancements over the years, making it both a little bit more challenging and more varied at the same time. As I mentioned earlier in this video, folks, if you have a different opinion to this list, or if you think there are updates that I haven't included in this list but you think are worthy of a mention, why don't you leave a comment below letting us know what that update was and what that feature specifically is and why you think it deserves a mention. The more comments we can get around that, the better. And there you have it, folks. There is a countdown, in my opinion, of the best 10 features added to No Man's Sky after its initial release in August of 2016. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're still here, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You can now become a channel member as well, and as always, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to catch you in my next one.